Welcome to Spec Life TV. Today, I will be narrating about a movie titled The Day Tomorrow. So, relax and have fun. Jack Hall is a scientist who studies ancient climates to understand how the Earth's climate has changed over time. He travels to Antarctica with his colleagues, Frank and Jason, to drill for ice samples. These samples can show how the climate was thousands of years ago. While they are drilling, a huge chunk of ice suddenly breaks off from the ice shelf, almost causing Jack to fall into a deep crevasse. This dramatic event is an early sign of the big changes happening to the Earth's climate. After the close call in Antarctica, Jack presents his findings at a United Nations conference in New Delhi. He explains to the gathered diplomats and scientists that 10,000 years ago, global warming caused a massive climate shift that led to an ice age. Jack warns that if humans continue to pollute the atmosphere, the same thing could happen again, perhaps in 100 to 1,000 years. However, his warnings are mostly ignored. The Vice President of the United States is particularly dismissive, thinking Jack's predictions are exaggerated and not an immediate concern. At the conference, Jack meets another scientist, Professor Terry Rapson, who works at a climate research center in Scotland. Terry has been studying the world's ocean currents, which play a crucial role in regulating the planet's climate. He tells Jack that the melting polar ice caps are pouring fresh water into the oceans, diluting the salt water and causing the ocean currents to cool. This disruption is significant because ocean currents help distribute heat around the globe. Two buoys in the North Atlantic Ocean show a dramatic drop in temperature at the same time. Terry realizes that the melting ice is starting to disrupt the North Atlantic Current, which is a critical part of the global climate system. He calls Jack to share this alarming news. Jack's climate model, which reconstructs past climate changes, can help predict what might happen next. Though Jack had initially believed that such changes wouldn't occur for many centuries, they now use data from Terry, Jack, and a NASA meteorologist named Janet to build a new forecast model. As they input the data, it becomes clear that the climate is changing much faster than they anticipated. Around the world, extreme weather events begin to happen. In Tokyo, it starts to hail with stones the size of softballs. Snow falls unexpectedly in New Delhi, a city that never sees snow. In Los Angeles, a series of massive tornadoes strike, causing widespread destruction. The U.S. president, seeing the severity of the situation, orders the Federal Aviation Administration to stop all air traffic over the country due to dangerous turbulence in the atmosphere. In the midst of these global events, Jack's son, Sam, is in New York City for an academic competition. He is there with his friends Brian and Laura, and they also make a new friend named JD. During the competition, the weather takes a turn for the worse. Intense winds and heavy rains batter the city. Sam calls his father, Jack, to let him know he will try to get home on the next train. However, the storm gets worse, flooding the subways and leading to the closure of Grand Central Station. Jack, realizing the gravity of the situation, goes to see the president. He tells him that his previous estimate of many years has now shrunk to just days before the planet might enter a new ice age. Jack advises that everyone in the southern states should be evacuated to Mexico immediately. It's already too late for those in the northern states. The vice president, still skeptical, thinks Jack is exaggerating. Despite this, Jack sets out for New York to rescue his son. In Manhattan, the storm causes a massive 40-foot-high storm surge that floods the city. Sam and his friends seek refuge in the New York Public Library. As they enter, Laura cuts her leg on a piece of metal but doesn't let it stop her from helping a woman and her children escape from a flooding taxi. As the storm continues to rage, people in the northern United States are forced to flee south. Many of them cross the border into Mexico illegally, desperate to escape the severe weather. Jack, determined to find his son, heads to Manhattan with Frank and Jason. Their journey is perilous. Near Philadelphia, their truck crashes into a snow-covered trailer, so they continue on foot, using snowshoes to navigate through the deep snow. Along the way, they encounter numerous challenges. At one point, Frank falls through the glass roof of a snow-covered shopping mall. To save Jack and Jason, Frank sacrifices himself by cutting the rope holding him, allowing himself to fall to his death so the others can survive. The storm's intensity continues to increase. The U.S. president, caught in the superstorm, dies when his helicopter crashes. This tragic event leaves the vice president in charge. With the southern half of the United States now overcrowded with refugees at the Mexican border, the vice president agrees to forgive a significant amount of debt owed by Mexico, allowing more people to cross the border to safety. Back in New York, Sam advises everyone in the library to stay inside as his father instructed. Only a small group listens to him. They burn books to stay warm and break into vending machines for food. Laura's leg injury worsens, and she develops blood poisoning. Sam, Brian, and JD know they must find penicillin to save her. They venture out into the freezing city and find a Russian cargo ship that has drifted inland. Inside, they search for medicine while dealing with escaped wolves from the New York Zoo. Despite the danger, they manage to retrieve the penicillin and other supplies, returning to the library just as the superstorm hits the city with its minus 150 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures, instantly freezing everything. Meanwhile, Jack and Jason find shelter in an abandoned Wendy's restaurant during the deep freeze. Jason collapses from the extreme cold, but Jack manages to keep them both alive until the storm's eye passes. After the worst of the storm subsides, they resume their journey to New York City. When they finally reach the city, they find it buried in snow but locate the New York Public Library where Sam and his group are sheltering. They are overjoyed to find them alive, and soon after, U.S. Army helicopters arrive to rescue them. In Mexico, the new president orders search and rescue teams to look for more survivors, inspired by the survival of Sam's group. Many more people are found on top of Manhattan skyscrapers and other buildings, also rescued by helicopters. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos.